Hi, and welcome to the Animal Training Academy podcast show, the show for animal training and behavior nerds, where I, Ryan Cartledge, interview the world's most proficient animal training and behavior geeks. We're absolutely thrilled and grateful to have you here with us today. So make sure you hit that subscribe button on whatever you're listening to this on so that you don't miss a single episode. Each episode of this show is brought to you on behalf of the ATA membership. And if you like the conversations in this episode, then you're invited to continue them with like-minded behavior nerds within the membership area, which you can find out more about at www.animaltrainingacademy.com. You'll get access to twice monthly live web classes, the back catalogue of previous web class replays, plus a huge library of videos and projects to help problem solve your training challenges. Plus, we're a sociable bunch with an exclusive private Facebook group and forum areas. It's like a Netflix social media platform for animal behavior geeks. Well, we will get started on today's episode where we will be talking to one Maasa Nishimuta. Maasa studied under Dr. Jesús Rosales-Ruiz and earned a master's degree in behavior analysis from the University of North Texas. In her master's thesis, she studied the reinforcing effects of affection in the form of petting and gentle scratching with rescued equines. She modified constructional affection for use with equines and continues to apply constructional affection with animals in shelters where she volunteers. In 2021, Maasa co-founded a 501c3 non-profit organisation, Constructional Approach to Animal Welfare and Training, otherwise known as CAAWT, and serves as its Chief Operating Officer. CAAWT provides free training to individuals and organisations in need of training and cannot afford it, with the goal of improving the lives of animals and their caretakers through applications of the Constructional Approach. To carry out the mission, she co-hosts a monthly podcast, runs private sessions and group classes in person and online, and hosts webinars and the annual CAAWT Conference to disseminate information on the constructional approach and its many applications to animal welfare and training. So without further ado, it's our very great pleasure to welcome Maasa to the show today, who's patiently waiting by on the other side of the world. Maasa, thank you so much for taking the time to come and hang out with us at Animal Training Academy.
Yeah, first of all, Happy New Year, everyone.
Oh, yeah. That sounds weird saying it because it's November when we're recording, everyone, but yes.
Yeah, but we are now in 2022. And Ryan, thank you so much for inviting me. I am very grateful for this opportunity.
Yeah, well, I always wish that our guests could see these Zoom recordings. We've chosen the podcast format and we're only releasing the audio, but I think Maasa and I have been talking for a good maybe 30 minutes now before we push record, and I don't think a smile has left your face once, Maasa. So it's wonderful, the enthusiasm and excitement you bring to your work that is, I think, demonstrated by the business structure you have, the non-profit, that you're trying to really help in the best way you can those people that might not be able to get help. And you're doing it with a massive smile on your face. That's assuming that your smile is just consistently planted on your face and you're not human and you never get angry or frustrated.
Yeah, thank you for that introduction. Yes, Sean and I are very passionate about helping people and organization so that the dogs and the people can have a good relationship, because that's what we are really after. Like my life and then the people that I see, both in Japan and the United States, like they have their animal companions and they are always having a good life. The animal will connect people, and we want to make sure that the people who are in need can get that experience. So I'm very passionate about CAAWT's work too.
CAAWT. So as you can see, I kind of paused and I was like, how do I pronounce this acronym?
Sean said that let's do CAAWT because it's like kind of like a cow, the animal cow. So there's animal in there.
CAAWT. It sounds like a cow. A cow is
Yeah,
counting.
it's like a cow. Oh, that's also too. We didn't realize.
Hey, let's dive straight into the first question today, Maasa. I'm curious to hear about your journey. I know, as you mentioned to me before we pushed record today, you've been to New Zealand 3 times.
Yes.
You're originally Japanese. Your family's in Osaka. Now you live in Florida. So I can't wait to hear about all of the space between when you were growing up in Japan to now. But could you take everyone listening back to where you first got into animal training and share some stories with us?
Yes, thank you, Ryan. So since I was little, like very little, I really I was just hooked into animal. If there's animal, I just look at them. And I remember when I was like elementary school, on my way back from school to home, there's always like a stray cats, but it's not feral cats because the cats were fed by our neighbors. So the cats were like roaming around, purring to people, and I would just sit on the ground and then just pet the cat, interact with the cats, and then the cats would just kind of like being on me, and I just really enjoy that time after school. And I just forget about the time. When the sun started to set, I was like, oh, I have to go back to home, and my mom is very angry. Like I didn't really communicate about this. So I constantly was seeking out any interaction that I can have with those animals that I can interact with. And also my grandparents, I used to go back to my grandparents' house in Southern Island in Japan, like summertime and wintertime. And then they would take me to like zoo and petting zoos. And there was one place, I still have a picture of me sitting on the ground, and then the dogs are kind of like flopping on me, like sleeping on me, like 6 of them. And I am smiling. So like, I really love every interaction that I have with animals. And my parents' education, I really appreciate their education, is that they used to say that you don't have to be really good with math or like anything, but I want you to have a very unique things that is kind of like number one. So they were asking me what do you want to do like right now? What do you feel passionate about? And I really liked, they were teaching me like English song, and they were dancing with me. So I went to a dance club or dance school, but then I got bullied. So that whole experience got very aversive. So I was like, I finally quit, but then when I quit, my parents, of course, said, okay, now you don't have to go to dance school. So, but what do you want to do like in your pastime? Is there anything that you want to like learn new things or something like that? And one day my mom told me like, what about like horse riding? Like, I know that you love animals and there is a place where you can interact with animals, and that is horse riding. So I was like, wow, I have never thought of that idea. And I thank my mom for suggesting that idea. So I was like, yeah, I'm very interested. Let's do it. So I went to riding, like a typical riding club in Osaka. And I was there and I was taking the lesson. I get to ride the horses. I get to jump a little bit of the obstacles, but I was constantly very scared of being around horses because they were, for me, from my little, like I felt like they were a little bit frustrated, and they were a little bit, they do those like kicking and then trying to escape from humans. I see all sorts of behavior, and I was a little bit scared, but I was scared, but I want to be with them. So I was kind of in a very kind of switchover, like very conflicted, but that's the only place I could be with horses. So I kept going. And in a typical riding stable, you don't get to train horses. Like you just ride them and then just follow what the instructor told me. And what the instructor told me is like, okay, kick the horse here, have a whip here, and then just spank the horse here. And because the instructor said it, I felt pressure that I had to do it. But every time I do that, I felt so guilty. Like I didn't want to do it. This is not really the kind of interaction I want to have with horses. So from that experience, I have this big question of how can I be just friend with horses without the use of extra equipment, extra metal looking thing, like putting things in their mouths felt their skin and like I was just out of frustration, but I have to do it because this is the only way that I can, play with horses. So I kept going there, but so I started horse riding from the 6th or the 5th of elementary school and then to the high school. But I went to Tokyo after I graduated from high school. And when I was in Tokyo, of course, I have to quit wherever I was doing horse riding stable in Osaka. And I was here Tokyo alone. What should I do? I want to keep learning about horses, but I don't know any connection. But so I Googled it. I kept contacting them. I visited them and then see I would like to meet them. And then I said, I would like to learn about horses. I want to be friends with horses. I don't have to be riding them, but I would love to be able to interact with them. And the last place that I visited, the person who was running the place says that, okay, welcome. And then you can just start working now. And I was like, oh my gosh, I can work right now. So I started following their routine. I started to make their feed. I started to clean the stall. And at that time, I have never cleaned horse's stall. I couldn't because the horse riding stable didn't allow anybody to really spend time with horses in the stall. So for the first time, I'm raking their room, and then I felt their poo is very heavy. I started to learn all sorts of daily routine of human and horse interaction. And I am forever thankful for that person and in that place for teaching me next level of really interacting with horses. And at that time, I started to be not very scared of horses. I was very seeking out more interaction because the horse was never kind of be in a place where they have to be tied to a rope. They have to be in a very restricted. So the horses were very calm and friendly. And I was like, wow, without a lot of those equipment, the horse can be very calm. And they were just companion. And so I really enjoyed that. I got more deeper understanding of horses. And then the earthquake happened, the 3/11 earthquake. And I was in Tokyo and I was in the class. And then that earthquake happened. And that whole episode of the experience, aftermath and then the tsunami and everything got me thinking, oh, wow, I have to be doing the thing I really wanted to do. And what I really wanted to do is to first go to the United States and then learn about English and then kept learning about horses. So I talked to my parents and I said, I think I would love to study abroad. And then they were very generous that, yeah, you can go ahead and just find your unique number one thing. They are all about number one and the unique thing. So I went to the United States. I went to Santa Barbara, California, and I started community college. And I kept searching for places where I can learn more about horses, but I couldn't really find it. And then I was a little bit hectic about this new chapter of my life in the United States. But on that break after the semester, I found this place in Mexico, Cozumel Island, where I could do kind of like a 1 month kind of internship. And I went there and the horses were living in woods, like forest. And I would forever thankful for Liliana, who taught me more about horses. This is another next level of learning about horses after Tokyo, where I learned about the dynamic of horses. And in the herd, they had a family of horses. There were 3 horses. One is dad and then the brothers. And Liliana told me the dynamic of the family and how affectionate that they are. And I was like, oh, wow. I am very interested in herd as well as relationship between human and horses. So that whole thing really brought me to the next level of understanding about horses. I came back to the United States, started another semester. And through really human connection, I met Peggy Hogan. And Peggy was living in really to the neighborhood town of Santa Barbara. And what was very interesting is I saw Peggy's video when I was in Tokyo, suggested by the person who was running the horse place in Tokyo. So I was like, oh, wow, like that person, like I would love to meet with you. And I met her. I visited her place where she had 7 horses, 5 miniature horse, and then 2 regular size horse. And I talked to Peggy, like, I am very looking for a place where I can learn more about horse. And I told her this one phrase that she's also, she always says it, that kind of made her that, oh, this person is serious about learning about horse. I said, I can't breed without horses. Like, I can't, like, I have to find a place where there's a horse and I can breed now. And then when I said that, she was like, okay. And then she took me to her wing and she taught me about clicker training and positive reinforcement. And in Japan, that positive reinforcement training, I have never heard that term before. I've never seen clicker training. What I only saw was really the horse escaping from people or doing something so that kind of they will minimize all the pressure. It's really shut down horses. I saw a lot. But the horses I saw, the Peggy's horse is so friendly. They are so voluntarily approaching her and staying with her and then keep participating in the training. And when I saw that, I was like, I need to learn this like right now. So she taught me the mechanics of clicker training and how we can shape behavior. We wrote shaping plan, and she was really supervising me how to train and shape. And we train many behaviors, putting many behaviors on cues. And we did a little bit of a concept teaching concept of colors and stuff. And I also get to hang out with her, like privately. We will go to see her private clients. And on the driveway, we will always talk about like, what about this article? Like, what about this video? There was so many discussion going on. And I also attended Clicker Expo because of Peggy told me that this is the place that you really want to meet lots of people. So she was like the door that opened up this whole thing, like the animal training community, positive reinforcement community. And I think it was around like about 1 year studying under her. One day she told me that, Maasa, you have been learning about this clicker training and there is a science behind this training method. And I really recommend if you are interested in learning more about the depth of the science, I recommend you go into University of North Texas. And there's a professor called Dr. Jesús Rosales-Ruiz, and also a great student organization called ORCA, Organization for Reinforcement Contingencies with Animals. And she was that was the word that she told me that, okay, I have to go. I have to pursue this science. So I went to UNT and I started attending ORCA, and I attended first Jesus's class in undergrads. And because of my learning from Peggy, everything that Jesus was saying clicked. Oh yeah, there's a science right here. Oh, this is how we look at the behavior. And oh, this is the science of behavior. And the first class that Jesus taught was, there was like a video series that he assigned. And it was Gold Diamonds, Where Do We Go From Here video series. And I watched them multiple times. I even like the thing that he was saying. And I tried to understand, and I think I understood, but I didn't really quite understand, really superficial understanding. So I wasn't really comfortable like talking about construction approach because I think I wasn't really confident enough to be saying I understood. And also Mary Hunter, I met her through ORCA and undergrad. And then she brought me to this horse sanctuary where I met Jackson. And lots of things happened. And then the owner of that sanctuary passed away. And by that time, I was like already fell in love with Jackson. So I was like, oh, I need to rescue. Jackson is going to be my family. So I rescued him. And through training with Jackson, and then I always bring my training video to Jesus. I go to his office hour like every week, and then I would show training video, and he would say, oh, maybe look at this one. Maybe next time you can do this one. And then we will improve my training, my behavior. And I had the really good undergraduate course, but I thought that there is so much that I can learn more about. I wasn't really understanding fully constructional approach and nonlinear analysis. So I proceed to the graduate program. And yeah, I really love graduate program. Like my understanding got more deeper, and I got to meet more people like Joe Lane, Melinda Sota, Joanne Robbins, all the people that I could meet. And also I enjoyed Jesus's class, like BIP, which is Behavior Intervention Plan, where he talks, it's really going really deep into the nonlinear analysis, and then how we can use constructional approach to individualize a program to kind of, we didn't really implement the program, but we talked about, okay, here is a very, how to say, the hallucinatory and delusional behavior. How can we analyze this behavior non-linearly? How can we make sense of this behavior? And then through the analysis, how can we make a constructional program for this individual? And I really like that exercise, and then going really deep into the analysis and then the programming. And I will never forget this 5-minute lesson that I had with Joe Lane. So I think towards the end of my graduate program, Joe and Melinda were in UNT for like a year. So I try to go to their office hours and try to learn more about the construction approach, and then share what I have learned through reading from Jesus's class. And then they will say, yeah, you're understanding right, but this is a way to look at it. And then it was fantastic. But there was one day that I went there, I really didn't understand how to analyze nonlinearly and really didn't quite understand the construction approach. So he walked me through this real case that I think he worked with this particular client. This client was was at work and have developed this disturbing, problematic patterns of behavior where she would kind of go away from the desk area, go to the hallway and eat snack. And then she will do that constantly during the work. And so that's kind of the disturbing pattern. This is a problem behavior. And she's very concerned about the calorie that she's gaining, and then wants to get help, and then wants to get healthy and also keep the work. So Joe walked me through, okay, let's do cost and benefit analysis of this behavior and try to understand why she is doing this behavior. And what's the cost of this behavior? And he really walked me through question by question. And there was a board, and I would write on the board. And I said, okay, so this person is getting some kind of snack. So, okay, the cost may be gaining calories. And then he asked, what are the benefits of this behavior? It's like, okay, maybe she can escape from the work, and maybe because she's in a hallway, she's not really surrounded by the coworker and the boss, and then not constantly having some kind of pressure. And also she have a time to think about and then plan about her work in the next, when she goes back. And okay. Oh, and I was like, oh, there's a benefit to this behavior. Oh, wow. And then he asked, what are the things that she can do right now? And then she said, okay, I said, maybe she can stay in the desk, but what are the cost and benefit of staying in the desk? And the cost will be, she has to be facing the work. Maybe it may be too difficult for her, but the benefit will be because she's not eating the snack, no extra calorie, and then she can kind of get her work done. Okay, so there are some cost and benefit for that behavior that she can engage in, but that's not really solve any problem, right? And there's constantly, we will walk through other patterns of behavior, and constantly there is always like facing the difficulty of the task or being able to escape from tasks was always in the cost line or benefit column. And then Joe asked this question, why are these consequences very important for the person? Like why this consequence is something that's very powerful for this person. And I really didn't understand. Like, I feel like in 1 minute, I kept asking Joe, I really don't understand your question. And then he kept like, okay, so we can look at, there's a benefit to this behavior and there's a cost to this behavior. And we work through all this behavior, and there are always this thing that escape from work and then work difficulty. And what can we teach her so that she can get less cost and more benefit? And that clicked me. I was like, oh, maybe this person were maybe unorganized. Maybe the management of her work is not there. Maybe she needs to learn some other kind of skills so that she can work efficiently. And when I said that, Joe said, yes, we should teach her that behavior. And then once we teach that behavior, she no longer needs to go to the hallway and then eat the snack. And that 5 minutes gave me a lesson of multiple things. First is that there are always cost and benefit of behavior. And when we understand why this behavior occurs through cost and benefit, we can really start to think, oh, what are the missing repertoire that the person is lacking that we can teach her so that we can teach her and kind of no longer need to engage in problem behavior. And that really kind of I opened my door of like, oh, so this going from linear analysis to non-linear to really understand that person's. And through all of that happened in the graduate program and my thesis of using affection to teach horses to stay and come on cue. But not only that, the interaction, we also look at the interaction between me and the horses. All of that really is guiding me what I do. I think I go too long, Ryan. But that really was kind of like my past journey of where I am.
Well, before we push record, you said, I want it to be more conversational. I said, I'm not gonna interrupt you at all at any point in time. My goal is to get you passion talking. So, I'm happy that I've achieved my goal because you just passion talked us. That was awesome.
Yeah, I was.
Well, firstly, I am a parent of a 20-month-year-old beautiful girl. And so I feel like I've learned parenting skills off you. We're having conversations about skill, but it sounds like you had amazing parents, so supportive, and they've played a really important part in guiding you to where you are.
Yes. Like my passion in English came from my mom, and we sang Carpenters in the bathtub. Like everything really started with my parents. I really feel like their education, the thing that they said to me is very unique. Like I don't hear them say, you have to have 100 score in math. You have to be like, well, yeah, we have to be studying it, but they didn't really ask for perfect score. Everything is perfect from school, but they want me to be very problem solve myself, actively engaged with the world, like pursue what I really want to be. So I really forever thankful for my parents for that.
No, I'm going to remember that and finding summer's number one. At the moment, I think it's taking off and putting on shoes, but that might change. That
can also be shaped and leading
absolutely.
to the next. Yeah,
it's our favorite. It's our favorite activity at the moment. I love that you met Peggy Hogan, a really important part of Animal Training Academy, and I know that you're in our membership on videos that Peggy Hogan, and I've told you this, has shared in trainings and offerings that she's offered our membership. So I don't know who I was looking at back then. I think there was a behavior review training fly spray for one of her horses.
Yes, Moonshadow. Yes. Yeah, that was really fun.
And an amazing journey of... people often ask, what I want to learn about training, or I want to get into this, what should I do? I'm trying to glean from your journey how you ended up in office hours with Jesus and Joe Lang after being taken under Peggy Hogan's wing and going to Clicker Expo. What can you speak to that? Is there something you can share with people? Is an insatiable drive? You can't breathe if you're not near horses.
So I don't know. I think this is not really behavioral behavior analytically, but I was so like girls be ambitious, like coming to the United States, seeing the whole different world than in Japan. So many information. And one of the things, this is one of the culture shock that I learned. One of the, is that you have to go and grab it in this world, in the United States. If you are kind of waiting, nobody's going to come to you. You have to go, grab, pursue. And if you got said no, you have to approach in a different way. So that behavior got shaped. The first shaper was Peggy. Like I think I had to talk to her, like send email like 2 or 3 times until she took me under her wing. So she shaped me for like, don't give up, just go, go, go. But whenever you try next time, like approach in a different way, like use the word that is really truly representing you kind of. And Jesus, as well as Joe, as well as Melinda, and as well as Joanne, I got to do an internship at Morningside. That was another breakthrough of who I am, is to learn about how they teach those complex, like problem solving, complex skills to the students in Morningside. So yeah. And also after I met Sean, like he shaped me how I can approach people to get yes. So it's really, I got shaped by the wonderful people that I could meet. Yeah.
All right. So how do you shape someone to get yes? How do you shape someone to get a yes? You've got us curious now.
Got a yeast?
Oh, sorry. Yes. Maasa said to me before the podcast, like, Ryan, can you speak slowly? Because the New Zealand accent is so strange. I shouldn't say that.
Sorry. Yeah.
Sorry.
That's a very interesting question, because I think first you have to learn what's the person's reinforcer, and is it a way that we can have that, like share that reinforcer together, or create something that we can have a new reinforcer? I think that is a little bit closer to behavior analytic explanation, I think, but you have to know that person first. And then you don't want to be me at first. You want to kind of be, listening to them, and then really having a good conversation to show that I really care for this material. And I really think that the animal also connect people. Really, the animal person or the people that are also serving humans, they are very generous, and they are very want to share their journey, whatever that they have discovered, they want to be sharing to other or next generation. So all of the people that I met are like that, really wonderful person.
Well, that's I love that you've added this, and I asked that question. I think that's so valuable for us as we navigate challenging situations in our role as positive reinforcement animal trainers, working under ethical frameworks where we come into contact with others who we want them to say yes to the things we're doing, building relationships and listening.
You first have to listen.
I agree.
Yeah.
Wow. And so you mentioned Sean then, and for those who don't know I know who Sean is, but maybe those who are listening haven't made that connection yet. Can you walk us through who is this Sean character, and how did you guys meet?
Yeah, so Sean Will, he did podcasts with you. I don't remember the number, 100 something or 200 something.
I can't remember. Last year, I think, or maybe last
year. Yeah. So Sean was also a student of Jesús Rosales-Ruiz, and then he was also a member of ORCA, and then he and Chase Owens, under supervision of Jesús Rosales-Ruiz, developed Constructional Affection. So when I went to the UNT and then I started attending ORCA, I was pretty shy, but I was trying to go to ORCA meeting every week. And it was when they are talking about Constructional Affection. And they were constantly sharing a slide and video during the meeting about their work in animal shelter. And I met Sean at the ORCA, and I was very impressed by their work. Like the shelter dog, like in the beginning of the video, they would start with dog, really jumpy, mouthy, barky, all the, like a tornado dog. After after like 30 seconds or 1 minute, they are laying down. It's all melted. And when I saw that video, it's not edited video. I was like, what is happening here? So like my encounter of Sean and Chase is really associated with constructional affection. And I was always interested in that. But then he started to teach special education as a teacher in the middle school. So he didn't really come to the ORCA meeting. But then like some years has passed. I am now in graduate program, and there was annual conference, art and science of animal training conference. And Sean came in as a helper to shoot the video. We record all the presentation that is done in a public conference. And then I was one of the video camera and he was one of the video camera. So we started talking about it, and I started talking about how I am understanding about construction approach, but then I was not quite there. So he helped me understand more about the nonlinear analysis constructional approach. And he would ask me very challenging question like, okay, in this context, what's the reinforcer? Is it food or is it something else? And then I was constantly kind of battling him because I wasn't really understanding it. My concept was too narrow that I couldn't even understand what his question was. So, but he allowed me to he really taught me go into more nonlinear and constructional approach. And then we co-founded the Constructional Approach to Animal Welfare and Training. It's a 501c3 nonprofit organization. We founded last year, when this podcast is up, 2021. And our mission is to provide behavior support and training for free for any individual and organization who wants to get this service but cannot afford it. And we have other mission, but I want to expand on this because this is very important. You know, there are so many nonprofit organizations that are designated to care for animals. Like we see animal shelter across the world, not just within the United States. Animal shelter to provide shelter, food and water and everything that they need to get adopted. We also have nonprofit organization for food pantry. They will give food for maybe homeless people and then their dog, and also food for the stray cats and then the dogs that are on the street. We also have a spay-neuter clinic that provides low cost or no cost for this medical care service. We also have service dog training. We also have rescue for like natural disaster. Like we see that a lot in social media. And there are so many, but we don't really see a lot of nonprofit organizations who provide free behavior support and training for everybody who cannot afford it. And typically the training can be very expensive for the individual who are going through maybe suffering from COVID era and other situation. And they may have to give up, they have to maybe surrender their animals because they don't have financial situation or because they don't know how to deal with this problem or disturbing behavior. So they have to rehome. So behavior challenges are one of the top reason why the animals get euthanized, rehomed, the reason why the animal is staying in the shelter for a long period of time. So we want to be filling that gap where we provide those training for human and animals so that they can so the dog can get adopted and stay adopted. And after they get adopted, can immediately build the relationship that the family and the dog wants. So we are all about filling that gap, working with this team of medical care staff, veterinary and shelter people to really have a team to really help the animal and then the people. So that's there. But another mission that we have is to disseminate the science of behavior and explore the constructional approach and its many applications of animal welfare and training. So thanks to the introduction by Ryan, we also have CAAWT membership, both Japanese and English. We have group class, private consultation, and we also do organization consultation. We have annual conference, webinar, podcast, and we visit our local shelter to provide direct training, we also do CAAWT live stream from the shelter that we work to really connect with the audience while we work with the dogs. So we have so many kind of platforms where we can have interaction with audience in any way that the audience wants. Yeah. So yeah, so many work that we really like to do. Yeah.
And and help me understand it. That's just you and Sean?
Exactly. Yeah. With the help of our dog.
Wow. That's a lot. Are you looking to build a team and where's it all going?
Yeah, we would ideally want to be able to build a team. And then we want to go beyond the United States. We want to have team in Japan, team in Canada, team in New Zealand, team in Europe. Yeah, we would love to. Our goal is really to build community of people who are constantly learning, constantly refining our understanding and skills together. So we would love to build a good team and community together.
And for those listening, I run Animal Training Academy, obviously, and we've got the podcast show, we've got the membership, we've got live classes, all the other stuff I do externally from the membership within the realm of animal training. I understand that that's a lot. Like that, you can't, there's only 24 hours in a day. So, I mean, I look at what you're doing and I'm impressed and also curious as to kind of, how we continue the great work and how you manage all of that. And because
it's Ryan, like Sean and I, we are so being shaped by the community. Like we did this one workshop in Japan at the end of 2018. And after that workshop, people were starting to be very curious of what we were doing. Like at the workshop, we talked about constructional affection with horses. We actually did that workshop in a horse stable, of my friend's horse stable. And they were very passionate about it. And I was like, oh my gosh, there are some people that would love to learn about this. We have to do something. And then we did podcasts. We started podcast. And after that, we did, okay, why don't we do conference? And then everything is very listening to what the people that we encounter with, what they want. And then it happened to be what we want. So our reinforcers are really aligned. So we just kept growing. And all of the people that we get to interact with, work with, and consult with have tremendous progress with their animals and their clients. And it's just reinforcing for us to see that the animals is having a happy life with their with their family. So this is really what we are after. So we just want to keep doing the thing that our community and the people want. And then it ended up with this much of a program.
Congratulations on building what you've built so far and doing it what sounds organically with the environment, the clients, the audience that is attracted to your work, and likewise, that's I'm thrilled for you guys. It's awesome. If people listening to this show want to find out more, where can they go online to hang out with you guys and then shape your future behavior?
Yeah, please come and shape us. Yes. So we have a website. It's caawt.com. That's for English version. And if the audience, if you all can come to this website, you will see all of the things that we have. All the podcast episode is there. The CAAWT membership page is there, where you can learn more about what we offer and then how we engage with the member and then how we grow together. And we also have social media. We have a Facebook page. We have Instagram. We have YouTube. So you guys can come here and hang out with us. And if you have any question, you can always email us. And also you can come join our CAAWT live stream. So you can actually ask the question that you have directly to us. So we will love to answer all the comments and questions.
Well, we haven't even got to question number 2 yet, and I'm looking at the time, so I'm getting very skilled at turning these into double episodes. We'll see how we go. I don't know how much time you have, Maasa. I've already used up.
Yeah, I do have time. Yeah,
okay,
I
cool.
do have.
Well, let's just keep going, and we might turn the rest of it into a second episode, just so we stay within the time frames of an average person's drive or a dog walk, or whenever you listen to your podcasts. As mentioned, we decided to turn this into a 2-part episode with the wonderful Maasa. So for part 1, we are going to end here and continue in 2 weeks' time with part 2. Additionally, expressing a ton of gratitude to Maasa for her time on part 1. Mega appreciated. We do, of course, really appreciate all of you tuning in today as well. And if you have enjoyed this episode and you were interested in carrying on the conversation about working with our animals in the most positive, funnest, choice-rich ways, then as mentioned at the start of this episode, the Animal Training Academy community is waiting for you. Head on over to www.animaltrainingacademy.com and click on the membership button in the main menu to learn more about what members are describing as the Netflix social media platform for behaviour geeks. That's it for this episode though. We're going to wrap it up there. Thanks again so much everyone for listening. You'll hear from us again soon.